day 7, a mock interview with ChatGPT. So let's spin ChatGPT up. Morning.
Good morning. How's your day starting off?
I feel
Feeling a bit
motivated.
tired?
Yeah,
That's
a little
tough.
bit. Hi, ChatGPT. I want you to act as a hiring manager at FPT Software. I'm applying for the senior data engineer, and I want you to do the mock interview with me and give me feedback based on my answer.
Sure, I'd be happy to help with that. Let's start. Can you tell me about a recent project where you designed a data pipeline?
Yeah, I'm currently working on LACE project, which is stand for Lead Allocation and Curation Engine. The project goal is to streamline the potential is of customer through the data lake and convey those and optimize and convey those leads to the RM workforce to call customer on 10 products of tech company like TD, CD, bond fund, etc. And my main goal, my main responsibility is to contribute to design and implement data pipelines to send to source from multiple sources through the data lake and enrich with the existing data on data lake and serve those leads to the Salesforce CIM so that the RM workforce can pick those leads and call the customer.
That sounds like a comprehensive project. To clarify, were there any challenges in integrating data from multiple sources, and how did you handle data quality and consistency during the pipeline process?
Okay, there are some challenge for centering those multiple sources. So the first thing is you have to have different pattern. So we essentially sort from three main categories, like from database, from Kafka, and from external file. So to handle those separate sources, our framework have to be robust enough to adapt with those source, and so that's how. So for each so we implement a framework and we do the configuration to just adapt with those multiple sources and bring those source data into the data lake raw zone. And for the data quality and monitoring, we often when developing new jobs, new table, we've done a lot of testing types of testing like unit test, system integrating test, user acceptance test, and production acceptance test to make sure that new job is data quality enough before it launch. And after it launch, we monitor those table by a separate monitoring flow. So for LACE project, I personally do the monitoring dashboard to make sure that the data is sent and received from CIM log completely, and there is no error or abnormal with the data.
That's a thorough approach. Implementing a robust framework and having multiple layers of testing is essential for maintaining data quality. Your use of monitoring dashboards to ensure completeness and catch anomalies also shows a strong focus on reliability. Do you also have any strategies for optimizing the performance of these pipelines, especially when dealing with high data volumes?
Yes, we actually encounter those optimization problem. So our final step is when we join our fact main table with about 20 tables, 20 dimensional table on data lake, and this job took us about 2 hours, and I noticed that we don't have to. I noticed that those dimensional table is often finished earlier. I mean, like always finish earlier than the fact table. What I did is I essentially materialized those uh, 20 dimensional table into one pre-compute table. Essentially, I pre-aggregate, I make a new job to pre-aggregate those 20 uh, dimensional table into one pre-compute table. And what I did is I did some optimization technique on those jobs. First, I do the catch. So with with the pre-compute job, we do a lot of CTE and a lot of repeated transformation. So catching is how we make sure that Spark didn't recompute those transformation. Second, I apply a broadcast join to you know to avoid shuffling when joining between one big table and one small table. Third, I increase the number of workers, and the costing model of AWS Glue is that it's equal the DPU multiplied by the time running. So by doubling the DPU, we have the time running. So the cost stay the same, but the running time is half. So with those technique, we essentially reduce the running time from 20 minutes to from 2 hours to 20 minutes. So that's how I apply optimization in my data pipeline.
That's impressive. Pre-aggregating and caching transformations, using broadcast joins, and scaling workers are effective strategies. Reducing the runtime from 2 hours to 20 minutes is a significant improvement. It's clear you have a strong grasp of optimizing large-scale data pipelines. Let's move on to another area. How do you ensure the security and privacy of the data within your pipelines?
To ensure the security and privacy, we have multiple gates to do that. First, as when sourcing data, we have to make sure the job is least equivalent, least privilege to the source system. So for the JDBC connection, we enable the TLS, and we have to make sure that the job on that VPC is can capable of connect to the source, and the source is only open for the VPC job. So that's on gates. A second one is when we serve the data. So the job is have the privilege to query the real data, but the user us doesn't have that privilege. We only we have to see the view, which is masked data, and by Databricks view or lake formation, AWS lake formation. So that makes sure don't we don't we aren't capable of seeing PII row or columns. So that essentially make um, how we enforce data privacy and data security in our bank. I didn't I forgot to mention that the cloud we also do the cloud security by enforcing the bucket KMS and the IAM rule um, of those uh, job to make sure that it can only query the bucket the packet that mm, it is supposed to query.
Your approach to ensuring security and privacy is comprehensive. Implementing least privilege, enabling TLS for JDBC connections, and using VPCs are solid steps. Masking sensitive data with Databricks views or AWS lake formation adds another layer of protection. It's great that you're also focusing on cloud security with IAM roles and bucket encryption. This shows a strong understanding of security best practices. Well done. Do you have any questions or areas where you'd like more feedback?
I I think that my communication is not so good. So because I deliver my answer chance by chance, is there any suggestion that I can make my answer seamlessly or smoothly so that I can seem more confident and more more reliable?
You're doing well. To make your answers flow more smoothly, try organizing your thoughts with a brief outline in your mind before you start speaking. Highlight the main points first, then elaborate. Practice pausing briefly between sections to gather your thoughts. Over time, you'll gain confidence and it will sound more natural. Keep practicing.
Yes, can you give me one question so that I can practice what you said? And then I want you to guide me on my answer or how to, really deliver my answer with confidence.
Absolutely. Here's a question. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a major issue in a data pipeline? Once you answer, I'll guide you on improving clarity and confidence.
Yes, so recently I encountered a performance issue on my data pipeline. So for the logic of the table,
Take your
we use Spark SQL to convey business transformation onto the job. So the query is so this is minus change. The query is we just use like select from where lead ID not in another select SQL subquery. So when we do the unit test, when we do the UAT, the data isn't that big, and because it's a small, because it's a more minor change, we skip our performance test to meet the timeline. And so when after deploy the job runs smoothly on the non-product environment, but after deploying onto the product environment, the job you know run like forever. It normally costs about 20 minutes, but now it ran about for uh, 3 hours without any sign of you know stop so stopping. So that's a performance issue. and the and so we have to declutter where to do the where to how to change those logic missing without missing the business requirement. And what I do is that I transfer those subquery into a left join. So I essentially join table A, left anti-join table B, and I work with the BA to make sure that those logic, the change is equivalent in terms of logic, but much performant than the last time, and it did, and the job ran like for 30 minutes. So that what I, how I troubleshoot a performance issue.
Great job. You explained the situation well. To make it smoother, you can organize your answer into clear sections. 1. Identify the issue briefly. Recently, I encountered a performance issue in our data pipeline. 2. Explain the cause. The problem arose from using a subquery in Spark SQL, which wasn't efficient with large datasets. 3. Describe the solution. I changed the subquery to a left anti-join, which improved performance. 4. Result and validation. After collaborating with the BA, we confirmed the logic met requirements and runtime decreased significantly. By structuring your answer this way, it becomes easier to follow and showcases your problem-solving skills confidently. You're on the right track.
Yeah, thank you very much for your guidance. I think it's very valuable. Can you do another round with me?
Of course. Here's another question. Can you share an experience where you had to implement a new technology or tool to solve a data engineering challenge? Take your time to structure your answer, and then I'll give you feedback.
Okay, so we so
Take your time.
uh, normally we often source from a database using JDBC connection, but um, there are new patterns which us require me to source from MSK, which is a Kafka-based storage, and so I didn't know much about Spark streaming, and that's when I have to elaborate Spark structured streaming with Kafka. That is a new technology for me, so I research it. Uh, it matched with our use case, so I implement, and after a quick POC, we can saw that is it's a suitable tool for our pipeline, for our use case. So that's how I did. I integrate Spark structured streaming into our framework, and it's it's very straightforward because our framework is also Spark based, already. So after integrating, developing new jobs, the job ran great, everything fine. So that's how I, you know, it require a lot of testing at the beginning, after the integration, but now the job runs smoothly.
Great job on detailing your experience with Spark structured streaming. To refine your answer, try structuring it like this. 1. Introduction. We needed to integrate data from a Kafka-based storage, which was new for our team. Challenge. I wasn't familiar with Spark streaming, so I researched it to see if it fit our use case. Implementation. After a quick POC, I integrated Spark structured streaming into our framework, which was straightforward since we were already Spark-based. Outcome. After thorough testing, the new jobs ran smoothly and efficiently. This format highlights the problem, your approach, and the successful outcome clearly and confidently. You're doing great. Keep practicing.
Yeah, how can I speak like you? I mean, in terms of logical and clear the point out. Because when I think like one step ahead and, you know, answer that step and stop and freeze and like think another step. And I cannot think thoroughly from end to end like you though. So how can I prepare myself to do like you?
It's all about practice and preparation. Here are a few tips. 1. Structure your thoughts. Before answering, quickly outline the main points in your mind. Think of it as a mini story, beginning, middle, and end. 2. Practice. The more you practice speaking logically, the more natural it will become. Try rehearsing your answers out loud or recording yourself. 3. Break it down. Focus on one point at a time. Start with a simple outline, state the problem, describe your actions, and conclude with the outcome. 4. Pause and think. It's okay to take a moment to gather your thoughts. Pausing can help you avoid freezing. 5. Learn from feedback. Reflect on your past answers and feedback to see what worked well and what can be improved. With time and consistent practice, you'll get there. Keep it up.
Thank you. I am practicing it. Um, can you give me another question so that I can practice it?
Of course, here's another question. Can you describe a situation where you had to optimize a data pipeline for better performance? Take your time, structure your response, and then we can review it together.
In my most current in my current project, I have to, you know, optimize. There was a final step to join the main fact table with 20 dimensional table to enrich those data and before optimizing and serve those leads to customer. And the job took too long and uh, required me to do the optimization on those job. So I realized that those 20 dimensional table often finish way sooner than the fact table arrive. So what I do is that I create a materialized view, um, a aggregated um, table from those 20 dimensional table based on some optimization technique like um, catching, up, catching,
You're on the
um, broadcast joy to avoid suffer, increase the number of worker. So after doing those, we optimize the running time of the main job from 2 hours into 20 minutes. So
great job.
yeah,
That was well done. You identified the problem, described the solution steps, and highlighted the outcome clearly. Keep practicing this structure, and you'll become more confident and fluent. If you want to go through another question, just let me know.
yes, please go through another question for me.
Sure. Here's another question. Can you describe a time when you had to ensure data quality in a complex project? Feel free to take your time and organize your response.
There are two major steps that we have to do to ensure our data quality. First is data testing, and second is data monitoring. When a new job is deployed, uh, before that, before a new job is deployed, we have to do a lot of tests, like unit tests, system integrated tests, user acceptance tests, and product acceptance tests. we also, if the job is already existed, we also have to do a regression test. And if the job is, big, it require performance test. And after, numerous of testing phases, we make sure that there is no problem with data quality before the job is deployed. And after the job is deployed, we do the monitor, we do the um, so we monitor data daily to make sure that there is no abnormal with our data. And that's basically how we do to make sure our data is quality.
Great explanation. You structured your response well, covering both testing and monitoring. Just remember to keep each point distinct. First, emphasize the variety of tests. Second, highlight the importance of ongoing monitoring. You're doing great. Just keep practicing this approach. If you need more practice, feel free to ask.
I I can, I want to train the logical of thinking and of, deliver the answer. Um, how can you suggest any way for me to do that?
Absolutely. Here are some strategies to help train your logical thinking and answer delivery. 1. Outline your answers. Before responding, quickly outline your response mentally. Think in terms of problem, solution, outcome. 2. Practice regularly. The more you practice structured speaking, the easier it becomes. Try explaining concepts to yourself or others. 3. Break down complex problems. Practice breaking down complex issues into smaller parts. This helps in delivering clear and logical answers. 4. Seek feedback. After explaining something, ask for feedback. This helps you understand what works and what can be improved. 5. Stay calm and pause. If you feel stuck, it's okay to take a brief pause to gather your thoughts. By consistently practicing these steps, you'll improve both your logical thinking and communication skills. You're already making great progress.
Thank you. Let's, have another question.
Sure. Here's another question. Can you tell me about a time when you had to troubleshoot a data pipeline failure? Take your time and structure your response, focusing on the problem, your solution, and the outcome.
I would come back to the performance issue with our data pipeline. So
Sure.
normally
Take your
I have a job that run for about 20 minutes, and there was a minor change in the Spark SQL code. But after deploying to the production, it took about 2 hours without any signal of stopping. So that's a big issue because the pipeline is silent failed. And what I do, what I did is I have to optimize those job. Uh, you know, changing from a subquery into a left anti-join to make sure the query is performant. After doing those, the job took about 30 minutes to finish, and now it runs smoothly. So that's what I do.
that great job detailing the problem and solution. By explaining the minor change that led to the performance issue and how you optimized it, you demonstrated a clear understanding of troubleshooting. Keep practicing this structured approach and you'll continue to improve. If you'd like more practice or have any other questions, just let me know.
I like more practice.
Sure, let's continue. Can you describe a time when you had to handle a data security issue in your project? Remember to structure your response with the problem, your approach, and the outcome.
There was a time I have to change from. Mm, so the thing is, we are sourcing from files on AWS environment, but with a different account. So it's a cross-account sourcing files. Normally, we do the bucket policy for other um, account to source from those. So let me clear it like this. We standing at account A and we want to sort files from account B. Normally, we do we change the bucket policy at account B so that account A can point to those and copy file without any preventing. But is not good for security because any account can sort from those buckets. So what we do is use we change to IAM assume role. So to make sure that the data security is enabled.
That's a solid approach. You identified the security risk with the bucket policy and implemented IAM assume role to secure cross-account access. Now, explain how this solution improved data security and any challenges you faced during implementation. You're doing great.
The main thing to make sure that those are security enabled is it's a two-way lock, so that account A have to ask for account B permission, and account B is required to make sure to allow account A to connect to it. So it's a two-way connection, so that it more reliable in terms of security than just account B allowing account A without account A have to ask for permission. So that's one thing. The second, there's any challenge. The main challenge is that we that it is a new pattern at our company. So we have to spend a lot of time on testing and make sure that those are eligible solution. And after times of practice of enabling it, is appropriate for us.
That's a great approach. Highlighting that it's a new pattern and emphasizing the importance of thorough testing shows your commitment to data security. Now let's focus on the outcome. How did implementing IAM assume role enhance your project's overall security and any benefits you noticed?
Like I said, it requires to do intentionally connection from account A to account B and from account B to account A. So it is a little bit more complex in terms of implementing and technology versus to just enabling bucket policy, but it intentionally make us more aware of the connection between those two account. That's how it helps us make sure our data security.
That's a strong conclusion. By highlighting the added complexity but emphasizing the intentional and secure connections, you've shown the value of this approach. It's clear you've enhanced security and awareness. Great job. If you'd like to practice more or have any other questions, just let me know.
I like to practice more.
Sure. Here's another question. Can you share an experience where you had to scale a data pipeline to handle increased data volume? Focus on the challenge, your approach, and the outcome. Take your time to structure your response.
Yes. So there are
Take
there are two phrases at our company. We used to do the we used to do our pipeline based on the glue job without any auto scaling option. So we have to do the performance test and predict the peak of the data. So essentially, we uh, adapt our number of worker based on the prediction, and sometimes it get out of memory because the like for the data at the end of the year is often for example the transactional data at the end of the year is often you know significantly bigger than the BAU. So it get out of memory and the job failed essentially. So recently we enable the auto scaling to make sure that the data is you know the data peak is handled properly. uh, Currently at we use Databricks technology, so auto scaling is enabled by default. So we often choose the minimum worker is one worker and the maximum worker is three to make sure that data peak is handled properly.
That's a great example. You explained the initial challenge with predicting peak data loads and how enabling auto-scaling in Databricks helped handle those peaks more efficiently. Highlighting the switch from manual scaling to auto-scaling shows a clear progression in optimizing your pipeline. Excellent work. If you'd like to continue practicing or have more questions, just let me know.
Okay, I want to practice more.
Absolutely. Let's try another question. Can you describe a time when you had to migrate a data pipeline from one technology stack to another? Focus on the reasons for the migration, the steps you took, and the outcome. Take your time and structure your response.
Yes, um, we we once have to migrate job from uh, AWS to Databricks, and the reason is that during our operation there was a lot of issue, and the you know the time travel within the packet table itself is frustrating. So we need a more robust data storage like Delta Lake in Databricks. So we shifting our storage from AWS glue catalog on Parquet into the Databricks Delta Lake. So that's the reason. So what we do is we recently running simultaneously two data storage as the data is in the migration phase. It's not sunset yet. So by running um, two data storage simultaneously, we currently do the clone from AWS tables to Delta Lake table by running um, deep clone statement on. So for existing job, we keep running it. For the new job, run on AWS. Run on Databricks, and those existing job is migrating to the Delta table so that it is native with the Databricks storage.
That's a great explanation. You clearly outlined the reason for migrating to Databricks Delta Lake, the approach of running both storages simultaneously and using deep clone statements. It shows careful planning and execution. Highlighting the benefits of using Delta Lake, such as improved robustness and easier time travel, adds value to your explanation. Well done. If you'd like to continue or need more practice, just let me know.
I need more practice. I am still, not familiar with speaking confident and speaking, logically. I need more practice. Please guide me.
Of course, practice is key. Let's keep going with another question. Can you describe a time when you optimized a data pipeline for cost efficiency? Focus on the initial issue, your approach, and the results. Feel free to structure your response, and I'll guide you through it.
Okay, the issue. We have one main table and 20-dimensional table. Joining those took us about 2 hours. What I did is I ran a pre-aggregate pre-compute table because those 20-dimensional table is often finished significantly sooner than the fact table. So I apply three main optimization technique like caching, broadcast join, and increase the number of worker. The job reduced from 2 hours into 20 minutes after the optimization and can run robustly now.
That's a solid response. You clearly identified the issue, explained your optimization techniques, and highlighted the impressive reduction in runtime. Focusing on the cost efficiency gained from these optimizations would add even more value. You're doing great. Keep practicing and you'll gain more confidence and fluency. If you'd like to continue, just let me know.
Continue.
Great. Here's another question. Can you share an experience where you improved data quality in a project? Focus on the problem, the steps you took to enhance data quality, and the results. Take your time and we'll work through it together.
To ensure our data quality at Techcombank, we have two major categories. First, data testing. Second, data monitoring. For data testing, we apply a lot of different types of testing: unit tests, system integration tests, user acceptance tests, production acceptance tests. We also do a performance test and regression test if needed. So testing is job for new job that isn't required, isn't deployment yet. But for running job, we do a monitoring. So I personally did a monitoring dashboard for our current project to make sure that the lead that we send to the CIM is respond and respond thoroughly without any abnormal data. So that's what I did.
Excellent. You clearly described your approach to data quality by emphasizing both testing and monitoring. Highlighting your role in creating a monitoring dashboard for ongoing jobs shows your proactive involvement. Great job focusing on the details. Keep practicing and you'll become even more confident and logical in your responses. If you'd like another question or need more guidance, just let me know.
Another question.
Sure. Here's another one. Can you talk about a time when you had to implement a real-time data processing solution? Focus on the problem, your approach, and the outcome. Take your time to structure your answer.
I implemented a near real-time data pipeline based on Spark structure streaming. So the business requirement is that we have to convey the user interaction with Techcombank app. The user interact at some product page of the app and left and drop off, and those is sent to a Kafka topic, and what we did is that we have to consume those Kafka topic near real time and enrich with data with existing data on data lake, optimize the potentially with our AI model, and serve the leads to the Salesforce CRM so that the lead is still warm and the salesperson is able to pick it up and call the customer, mm, you know, in time.
Great job. You effectively outlined the process of implementing a near real-time solution using Spark structured streaming, highlighting the business requirement, the use of Kafka, and the enrichment and optimization steps shows a clear understanding of the pipeline. Emphasizing how this ensures timely lead generation is also great. Keep practicing, and your confidence and clarity will continue to improve. If you'd like more practice or have any other questions, just let me know.
More practice.
Absolutely. Let's continue. Can you describe a time when you had to handle a data integration challenge involving multiple sources? Focus on the problem, your approach, and the outcome. Take your time to structure your response.
We integrate a robust framework to integrate from multiple sources. So the framework is already capable of handling JDBC connection, API, and um, but what I have to enhance is that I have to integrate cross account file on AWS, sourcing on AWS environment. And so what I did
You're
is
doing
I, you know, there what I did is that I use the IAM assume role, mm, and to make sure that all data is, you know, captured fearfully. I have to apply this pattern, which is for after. So there have to be a manifest file, a control file, to make sure that all data is there for. Mm,
That's a
so
good strategy.
yeah, so I am still not. So after copying all the data file, there have to be one final control or manifest file to like it like a metadata of those file to state that we have these 20 200 file, and you pick up like all 200 file. That's great. Move on. You pick up only 100 file. You are missing something. You better check on that. So that's how I make sure the new data integration with cross-account file sourcing is, robustly um, secured.
Great explanation. Ensuring a control file acts as a final check to confirm all data is correctly transferred is a smart approach. It adds a layer of verification, ensuring completeness and accuracy. You've shown a thorough approach to data integration. Keep up the great work. If you'd like more practice or have any other questions, just let me know.
More practice.
Sure, here's another one. Can you describe a situation where you had to troubleshoot a data pipeline failure? Focus on the problem, your approach to resolving it, and the outcome. Take your time and structure your response.
Allow. I mean, I want to talk about a silent failure that affected. So in data pipeline monitoring, there are two types of failure: the loud one and the silent one. The loud one is the one who failed, the pipeline is fail and not running, and we have to look at it and um, see what caused the fail. So there's often something wrong with the code and etc. But the the silent one is the real killer because it can affect the data quality or data mm, and so we once encounter a silent one.
That's a crucial distinction. Please continue explaining how you identified and resolved that silent failure.
Yes, the silent failure is based is like is a performance issue. So there are some minor change in our code. That's a subquery like select lead ID not in another select, and the job normally run 20 minutes. Now it ran for 2 hours without any signal of stopping. So I have to debug it, and I have to do the transfer
Your
change from left joy I'm sorry from those subsequent into a left joy left anti joy to keep the business requirement
That's a great
correct, but the query much more performant.
excellent approach. By changing the subquery to a left anti-join, you improve performance while meeting business requirements. This highlights your problem-solving skills and attention to detail. Great job. If you'd like more practice, just let me know.
More practice.
Sure. Here's another question. Can you describe a time when you had to ensure data security in your project? Focus on the challenge, your approach, and the results. Take your time to structure your response.
That's when I have to change from bucket policy to IAM assume role when sourcing cross account from cross account
You're off to a
files.
good start.
So
Take your time.
the thing is, using bucket policy is more easier. It's easier to implement those copy file, how to implement those you know role grantation, but it's more security prone. So we so changing from those to I am a sooner way is more complex in terms of technical, but it's more robust in terms of security. So that's when we do the trade-off between the security one and the technical thing.
That's a great explanation. Highlighting the trade-off between ease of implementation and enhanced security demonstrates your understanding of the complexity involved. Emphasizing the benefits of using IAM assume role for better security strengthens your response. Great job. If you'd like to continue practicing, feel free to let me know.
More practice.
Of course. Here's another one. Can you describe a time when you had to optimize a data pipeline for performance? Focus on the problem, your solution, and the outcome. Take your time to structure your response.
We have a job that joining from one main fact table with 20 dimensional table. Your job took about 2 hours, and I realized that 20 dimensional table finished way sooner than the fact table. So what I did is I create a materialized view of those table, applying spark optimization, a technique like caching, broadcast join, and 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 and
Take your time to explain further.
And increasing number of worker. So the job now reduced from 2 hours to 20 minutes.
That's an impressive improvement. By materializing views and applying optimization techniques like caching and broadcast joins, you significantly reduce the processing time. Highlighting these specific steps and the results showcases your strong problem-solving skills. Great job. If you'd like to practice more, just let me know.
More practice.
Sure. Can you describe a time when you had to implement a new technology or tool to solve a data engineering problem? Focus on the challenge, your approach, and the outcome. Take your time to structure your response.
Yeah. We often use Spark to integrate from JDBC connection. But there are times when we have to source from Kafka topic. So I did a little POC and saw that Spark structured streaming is suitable for our use case, as our use case is a near real time problem. It's not require real time. So what I did is that I do a big POC, implemented on the Kafka. I am sorry, on the topic, on the framework, and done a lot of testing and integrated, and it works.
Great job detailing your experience with Spark structured streaming. You clearly outlined the challenge of integrating Kafka and how you approached it with a POC and thorough testing. Highlighting the successful integration shows your problem-solving skills. Keep practicing and you'll continue to improve your confidence and clarity. If you'd like another question, just let me know.
I want to shift gear here a little bit, and I want you to ask me about some kind of behavior question. I think you're overloading, so I set you free. I see you tomorrow, ChatGPT.
You're welcome. Looking forward to it. Have a great day.
Yeah, great day. Goodbye.